We've all struggled as public land duck hunters at some point to find places to hunt and find ducks on those places. But one thing that really helps with that is knowing what to look for on the maps when doing your e-scouting. I made just about every mistake in the book in my 30+ years of public land duck hunting, but I have picked up a few things that have really helped me on my e-scouting. It really has helped me get on ducks better. And I want to share that with you today. I mentioned in the last video that I've been working on an online e-course. And these tips I'm about to share with you are a clip from my public land masterclass. I've been working night and day for the past month on putting this course together. It's really focused on how to find ducks on public, how to find places to hunt, and how to beat pressure. That was the three main things, because if you get that down, the rest is going to come easy. I would say that this course is more geared for the beginner to intermediate. If you're struggling on public land, this course is for you. What I want to do is share the strategies that I've used to be successful all over the country, from the north to the south, from the most pressured to the least pressured. It's kind of the same process as far as finding places to hunt and finding ducks. It's really all the same. I'm also including personal one-on-one coaching with the course. We'll go in depth with any sticking points you're having, whether it be looking at maps or your home area, whatever it is. I'll dive into that with you and try to help you through it. And I want to do this because I believe public land is at its best when you have the best hunters out there. People who know what they're doing. I'd rather be around 100 good hunters than 50 bad ones who are just sky busting and they don't know how to kill ducks. So I think the more educated hunters we have out there, the more successful hunters, the better the sport's going to be in the future and the better public land's going to be. If you're interested, you can check it out at chasinggreencourse.com, or you can look down in the description below. I've got it linked. You can click through and find more information there. Let's jump into today's tips. No matter what your goal is or what you're doing, the number one thing we're looking for with e-scouting is water. Even if your goal is to hunt dry fields, the ducks are still gonna roost and stay on water. That's gonna be where they're holding. So you're gonna have to find that to even be able to dry field hunt. So just about every situation, you're looking for water. To go a little deeper though, what's even better is water variability. Water that rises and goes down, because this is gonna create moist soil plants and fresh floods. Fresh floods are going to create fresh food, which is going to give us the upper hand as a public land hunter. Typically, you can find this by seeing actual moist soil plants. Depending on the time of year it was taken, they'll be differently colored, reds, dark browns. I'll show you some examples here. But also just where soil is exposed, where vegetation is not growing. There's obvious places you can see on a map where either a lake's fell out, a river's gone down, and you can see banks exposed. This lets you know that this river, lake, just about every river, lake that I know of though, has some variability to it. This is also true just on low wetlands, just low areas. You can see vegetation change from the trees around, the vegetation is around, to the vegetation that gets wet. And you'll be able to see this line. Cypresses, willows, buckbrush. This all has a certain look that will indicate that this is a low area that has water. It typically has like a grayish look, and it can also have that reddish dark brown look that I'm showing here. A time that I'm looking for just water in general is if I'm in a dry environment. Like, I don't care if it's got moist soil, I just need water because everywhere's dry. And I'm always just looking for water. If it's water, I'm gonna go look at it. But if you're trying to break down between the best, the mid class and the low class, well, the water variability that's gonna possibly have food is gonna be class A. It's gonna, after you kind of get an eye for it, it's gonna be obvious where the water is and where it creates different growth than what's around it. When trying to determine the best places in your area, the number one thing you need to be looking for is diversity. If you have suitable duck habitat and you have lots of diversity, you're almost for sure gonna have a good duck hunting spot at some point. I show some examples of this in the upcoming state breakdown that we're gonna go through. But if you've got crops around, if you've got moist soil around, if you have good heavy cover for them to take refuge in, you've got a refuge on public ground, you've got a lake or river that's going to be their highway, just where all these things meet, these are the places I'm looking for. I get really excited about an area if I've got a river coming through it, moist soil on the sides, a refuge nearby, crops nearby. If I've got all these things a duck need in a general area, I know it's gonna hold ducks. And then if I got like a big lake that's gonna be good for if it freezes, or just general water that's gonna attract them, I'm all in on that area. I'm gonna spend more time on areas that have the most diversity. That's what catches my eye when I'm looking for places, and especially when I'm trying to find the best places in the area. The more diverse it is, generally, the better I'm gonna rank it. And this could also just be something different in the area. It doesn't necessarily have to be a bunch of things in one area. It could just be this one thing that's different. Like if you got the only flooded corn around, well, it's chance it's gonna be pretty good at some point. Or if you've got the one lone isolated piece of water, you know, that could be the thing that's gonna set it apart. What makes it different than the rest? I'm also paying attention to the topo. The topo will show me low spots, places that could flood. It's also gonna show me high spots. I'm looking for high ground. We talked about this in the last one, so I'm not gonna go into that much, but I'm looking for spots that I can see a long ways. And we're also gonna get more into this in the pressure section, but I'm also paying attention to the hard to get to places. Where can a boat not get? Where can I go that the other guy's not gonna wanna walk to? I'm just trained myself to find that over the years. I'm doing long distance, so oh, this spot here is kind of off the beaten path. It's going to be hard to find. A lot of guys aren't going to want to go to this. Oh, a guy's not going to want to drive his boat through that, or he's not going to want to park his boat and walk the half mile. What's the hardest place on this map to get to? That's what my eye is going to be drawn to. We have killed a lot of ducks by finding those hard to get to spots that almost no one else is going to do. Outworking the other guy is something you can put that's going to give you the edge, because the ducks, if it's good suitable habitat, are going to find that at some point and start using it. And when you're the only group, or maybe you and one other group are the only ones willing to go do that, guaranteed spot on Saturday. You ain't even got to go scout. If ducks are in the area, you know you're going to be able to kill them here a couple times per season. Places up next to the refuge is what I'm looking for. This spot right here immediately catches my eye. Why? Because if all the road runs over here, if this is the furthest place from a road and it's surrounded by refuge, it's like a peninsula that goes up in the refuge. These are two different kinds of trees. See, this is one type of tree and this is another. You can see the line right here. See how that line runs? So I know there's diversity here, and then it even diversifies even further into this swampy low-lying area. That looks like some kind of buckbrushy cypress tree, who knows, but it's something different. That's all that matters. See, this is a big wide open hole right here. I guarantee you, if this floods, people have burnt their tails off in this little hole right here. And I bet you it's called the boot hole or the L hole because it's shaped like a boot. It's just perfect. It's surrounded by refuge. It's hard to get to. You got to come up around here to even get to it. If you're walking, it's real hard to get to. And yeah, there is no road here. There is a boat lane. Here, specifically, you can only have boats in the boat lane. Like, you can't take a boat outside the boat lane. And there's no gas motors. So that really makes a huge difference here. See, all you can do is use a trolling motor to get to here and then step out and walk to here. That's a long walk. Now that's like calling my group's name, because we're willing to put in the work because we know what putting in the work will bring. It brings results. So that's immediately, having not studied this, I briefly looked at it. That's the first thing that caught my eye. So just to recap, things to pay attention to: water variability, places that are hard to get to, your topo lines, really diverse places, but just in general, water. If it's water, go look at it. There's a chance there's gonna be a duck there at some point. I'm trying to look at as many options as possible.